Right, so first things first. We don't need to export it. It's already thingy. Save as. So DWG import desktop detail 7. There it is. I just bring it to the origin. Yeah, it's the right scale as well, luckily. Okay, so rotate it so it's on the right plane. And this is a terrace, you know, like a roof terrace detail. Let's do a save as off the bat. Right, there's still a little bit of cleaning up to do. Oh, actually, sorry, one little. One little bit of SketchUp trickery is when you import something, don't work off it directly from the import. Import it, explode, and then paste it into a fresh one. Yeah. Let it fix it. It should normally behave a bit better. So save as desktop, replace that. Okay. Oh, there may even be layers. Oh, brilliant. So turn that off, or you can even delete and then do delete contents. Let's just type that out for us. Have we got levels as well? No, we need that one. We can get rid of that one. Delete contents. And then there's just a tiny bit of tidy enough. Sorry, so I'll grab that now. Now for sake of cleanliness, I'll group that off, and then, you know, bring it through in chunks.
Yeah.
Just pop something behind it. You know when you're navigating.
Yeah, it makes it a bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. When there's nothing behind it, just the zoom and whatever goes mental. You see, it just behaves a bit better. Okay, so that's grouped. Now I'm going to effectively trace over each bit, but sort of, you know, explain what each bit is as well. So what I'm tracing over here is the roof, like, you know, structural deck. That's like the that thing with a bit of a thickness there. That's the like a metal profile that then the concrete's poured onto.
Okay.
So I'm just copying that across. So then what we can do, we've got the basics of it. We can then turn the rest of the model off.
Yeah.
And then just working this in piece, if you like. Now to get the thickness of the deck, then just take that. It's normally about 5mm. Trim the rest of that offset. And then there's your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, so try and give things colours as well, you know, just so you can distinguish what's what. Give it a random colour, you know, ish, and then just mess with it. Just take that to saturation. That's the concrete. It'll probably more likely be that's the deck, and then that's like a concrete formed upstand. But for the purpose of this, we'll just do it as one chunk. Notice that I'm doing everything in their own group as well. And it's quite good to, you know, kind of, you know, show it peeling.
Yeah, so you
peeling
can
away
distinguish the different elements.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got that. Then we've got a bit of perimeter insulation there. Just a little bit of extra protection, thermal bridging and stuff going through that upstand. Give that let's give insulation a little like yellowy colour. Then we've got our main roof insulation here, that's doing the bulk of the work thermal wise. And then what that is there, that's a fillet, so that the membrane that's protecting the roof, it doesn't crack. Oh. So if it's a complete 90 degrees, that's a weak spot.
Right.
So you actually give it a little chamfer there, form that with a plastic or a timber fillet, and then when the membranes are overlapping one another, because there's kind of like your main roof membrane, and then there's like another upstand one, and they lap there. So it's just a neater detail. And obviously with things being grouped, we know we've done them now, so we can hide them off.
Yeah. What would you call that for the purposes of the detail?
This?
Yeah.
It is just a fillet. Membrane fillet, roof fillet, well, something like that. Just let that fly out there, so we know we can grab that later on. So then, with the membranes, what I was talking about, you've got your main waterproofing one that works its way up and across the upstand there. It probably wants to go a bit further than that. Actually, you wanna go right to the edge of the upstand there. Right now, it'd be tough to sort of draw the thickness on that, so I'm just going to draw it as a line, and then dive into the groove like that, and then give it its thickness in here. So 2mm. Normally give it a black colour. So you can see, I mean, it's brilliant in 3D. Yeah. You can see what that's doing. That is completely protecting that concrete from any water ingress. this thing here is, it's effectively a gutter, but it's made of gravel. So these pavers, I forgot to call them. These pavers, they're on these pedestals, and that's the connection, the pedestals. So they're not mortared at the joint, so water can freely pass through that. And then this insulation is laid to falls. So then they you know, again, so it'll have a waterproofing layer on top as well, and that'll direct the water to a drainage outlet. So this is a perimeter detail. It prevents people getting too close to the balustrade, and it just acts as a bit of a gutter, you know, so water can filter through that as well and then work its way. So give that a little that'll do. Little stone section. I'm not saying that. Probably prefer to work to block colours anyway. Just looks a bit chunky, doesn't it? Okay, so then on the roof pavers. So obviously this is a terrace. This is a private terrace that people can walk on.
Do you not need to make the cut where the pedestal enters it, or is that being a bit finicky?
Yeah, for this, because that would be more of a notch in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, for this it's probably a bit of overkill, and I won't really be modelling that in that level of detail either for the purpose of this. The thing with 3D details is it's more about this layering, you know, so we can easily identify what's what and what's doing what. So that's a paver. Again, just give it a bluish colour and just take the saturation out of it. Could even make that a component. And then you would normally have a little 5mm joint like that, so you can see then that the water can get through there. And then for the pedestal, I'll do a little bit of follow me, I think. So just traced 1/2. These are normally circular. Just to give a circle more edges. It's when you've just clicked on the tool, just you've got sides down here, just I'll click type 60, take the face off that, select the circle's edge, and there's your pedestal. That's just picking up this one here is just picking up the perimeter. It may even just filter in a little bit there. You know, the gravel can kind of work its way around it.
Yeah.
And then for every other one, it obviously works to each joint like that.
Yeah.
So I'll delete this, but just to demonstrate. That's how that roof pedestal system works. Okay, so if we do unhide all, you can start to see the makings there of a proper roof terrace detail. I just use the scale tool, you know, just to mess with the extent at which they protrude. Now what we did miss is just the secondary, you know, waterproofing membrane that's going to act as the kind of the drainage layer above the insulation. So what we can do now is we can start to trace over the things that we've modelled. If you're struggling to see anything that's coloured black, just set it to hidden line. You may even put another fillet there, but just for the purpose of this, we'll leave it. 2 mil. What's up in there? Oh, it's on hidden line. Okay, give this just a slightly different colour, just so we can distinguish it. And you can see that, you can see then, can't you? Yeah, how all that's working, yeah. So if the top membrane fails, then that's your last line of defence basically. So you've got that double sort of protection. Okay. Let's work under here because obviously we want to hide all that. So for acoustic reasons, we've got a double boarded ceiling, acoustic rated boards. Acoustic rated plasterboards. They're actually, before the finish, coloured in a blue. Sort of that colour. You've got that line there is the hanging system. So you'll have these like bits of framing. If I just put that there, you have these bits of framing like so, that then connect to the hangers. So see there,
oh yeah,
that's the hanger, right? So I'm just sort of modelling that on the fly a little bit here.
How do you know what width and length and that they are?
Manufacturer's guide. Right. They'll tell you. It's normally 400 or 600 mil, but yeah, in the manufacturer's guide they've got they'll have something called like the white book, and it'll give you all that, and it'll give you the acoustic rating of all this as well. So you've got your framing there. Obviously this is just a snippet of that framing. That thing's laid on a grid.
Right.
There's so you at whatever centres. So it would work on a grid system like that. And then these hangers would be at certain
points
fixed into that structural deck above there. In between the bits of framing, you'll then get this level of insulation. Should be 100 mil, I think. Yeah. So you'll get these slabs of rock wool, 100 mil. And then the good thing with the rock wool is you can then you'd be able to then pack it around the frame and
Yeah.
things like that to achieve that sort of 100mm thickness overall.
Will it sit over the top of the frames as well? Yeah.
Yeah. It is just wool, isn't it? So yeah, it'll just be sort of moulded into shape. So effectively what that would do is something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what that does is, obviously it gives you a nice plasterboard finish, and that's acoustic, it gives you acoustic separation. Now in this instance we have treated it like it's between apartments, because there will be people walking on there.
Yeah.
So the client particularly questioned, do we need 2 lots of insulation there? But one's doing the thermal, one's doing the acoustics, if you like. Then we've got our main structural steel.
Yeah.
I won't draw the curvature. I'm just obviously just demonstrating how this thing comes together. So you've got your beam there, and that's picking up the edge of the deck. And you're allowed an element. I forget what the figure is now. I imagine we've worked to it. 100. Yeah. So it must be. You're allowed 100mm beyond the beam,
Right.
To project that deck, but as dictated by the engineer, obviously. And you can see there that the flat part of the wrinkly deck, the majority of that's on the head of the steel. That's then boxed in, and your 2 layers of plasterboard give you I think it's an hour or 90 minutes fire rating. So that steel's boxed in, so it's fully protected from fire. I'm just going to do that in a few lengths, just so when we scale it up it'll read. And then what we've got under here is a couple of layers of plasterboard, fire rated plasterboard, and this detail, you can see the way it's clouded there. We haven't quite got to the bottom of this detail yet, but those 2 layers of fireboard will form what's called like a deflection head detail. So there'll be a little bit, where the window hits the steel and all that, there'll be a bit of movement. So you use a couple of bits of fireboard and maybe like a flexible brace, just so it allows for a little bit of movement. We haven't quite got to the bottom of that yet, so hence why it's clouded. But for now, we'll just represent them in a pink, which is representative of fireboard. And again, it's obviously protecting the steel as well. And then we've got all this insulation up here, and that steel's forming a bit of a weak point.
Right.
So what we always recommend is, that's what that insulation's representing there. We recommend that you completely pack the insulation again in a soft, malleable type insulation like a rock wool. So it's fully packed there, and then the idea is that that insulation meets that there, and so there's no weak point. These two boards, strictly speaking, should be right up to there. Just so that's fully boxed in. Okay, not far off now. We've got our window head. I'm not gonna model all that frame in there. Just forming a little recess for the glass to go in. So then this is your double glazing.
Oh, nice.
I always just mess with the colours that SketchUp give you. There we go. All the windows on this as well are finished in a bronze colour. Something like that. Maybe a little bit of, yeah, something like that. Are we doing for
2 minutes.
Oh right, okay. 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Look, let's pause it there then, yeah. Oh, look at that. What do you reckon so far of that?
Yeah, that's a hefty detail that as well, isn't it? Like.